Dez Jones participated. I respect that, and and we can get into that. But Dez, Shannon, this is, and I look at you as a football player. This is one of those where it really cuts me from the standpoint that he comes off as your typical selfish athlete. He doesn't understand. It's not about him. It's bigger than him. What Colin Kaepernick decided to step out there with a job and a contract and all that, stop me if I'm wrong, none of his family members were killed by police officers, right?
Correct.
Okay. It wasn't his fight either. Personally. So Dez Bryant, Colin Kaepernick stepped out there to bring attention to an epidemic that was ridiculous and going on, and somebody had to say something that we got to stop this.
Right.
It's Dez Bryant. Hello. This is for your 3 kids so that they don't have to live this. It ain't about feeding a family and a job. Stop that. It's so... How many times we got to hear that? Everybody has to work. Everybody has a family. You know how many people have given up things so that you could play in the National Football League? There was a time when the league was 100% white and you couldn't play. Somebody had to give up something. You can't give without giving up. And if you get together and you unify, they can't fire everybody in the league. Why don't the players understand this? Stop it. How do you make change? You gotta be willing to fight for it. It's not gonna happen because you're so selfish. You're gonna stand up there and derail the whole movement by talking about your damn job and feeding your damn family. It ain't right. And it does a disservice to what Colin Kaepernick was willing to do, where he had nothing vested personally in it other than doing what's right. The worst people in the world are the people who refuse to say something when things are wrong. Those are the worst people in the world. And that's what I look at when I look at Dez Bryant. He bothers me so much from the standpoint of, dude, wake up. This is real. It ain't about catching no footballs.
I'm not surprised that either guy said this. Skip, normally when people vote, the first thing they have in mind when they vote is their back pocket. Secondly, when people take action, they normally have to look like, am I affected by this? Am I impacted by this? That's why we said we wanted white people to get on the other side, because they're not as impacted by this movement as African Americans are, because we died at a disproportionately higher rate at the hands of at the police officers. Skip, what we're seeing by Jones is that he thought this was a fad. See, it was cool last year. It was in vogue, middle of the season. And then he saw the backlash that what Cap got by not having a job. And he said, Skip, he's like, a lot of teams will look down at you and say, they call it Kaepernick. Call it a noun now.
Is that a noun, I guess?
It's a noun now, Skip. Think about it. So that's what he said. It was cool. Everybody was doing it, blah, blah, blah. They were out cool. But now, hold on, wait a minute. I know that this can affect my bottom line. Imagine if all the great leaders, Dr. Kings, Rosa Parks, Mandela's, and all the, if they say, you know what? I mean, this ain't really bad. I'm right. I'm cool.
I'm glad you said
that. What's
Dr. Martin Luther King had a fine church in Atlanta, Georgia, doing just fine.
Sure did.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Did he need to step out there?
And you don't think this? Did you think he thought? That I have a dream. He said, I might not get there with you. Next day he was killed. Skip, he knew there was a great chance that at the end of the day, where the day became that we would get these rights and would be able to advance, that he might not see that day. But that was okay with him, because his people would see that day. But these young guys, they don't see it like that. Let me get all the money I can. Let me do what's best for me. I got mine, you got yours. Skip, I tell people this all the time, and I just don't say this on social media. Mary Porter would have done a terrible job raising me if all I thought about was Shannon. Skip, Obamacare was terrible for me, Skip. It took me out of my provider. It jacked up my premiums. But it also gave people an opportunity to get health insurance they wouldn't have had to. So I'm willing to pay extra. Skip, I get a procedure and I'm paying 80% out of my pocket. I'm thankful enough that I have an occupation that I can pay. But what about the people that don't? You can't just think of, man, if everybody just thought about themselves. Think about this. And Skip, then you take it from here. If all they thought about was themselves, everybody for themselves, Joy, you for yourself, Skip for you, Rob, me, everybody, 320 million Americans were about themselves, we'd be an effed up society. But there is enough people to say, you know what? It's not about me. It's about us. And for the betterment of our society, sometimes you're going to have to be willing to give up something in order to get something great in the long run. And I just wish these young men could see that. I wish they could see past their back pockets. But right now they can't see. And it's sad.